Hey everyone, just a quick ask before we get into the newscast. If you really like Wake Up, I would love it if you gave us 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and drop a quick comment there to let people know about this newscast. It would really help people discover us. All right, on with the news. Wake up, Pittsburgh. I'm Matt Peiken. Let's wrap up your week with this local newscast for Friday, February 6th. Another wave of harsh winter weather is headed for the Pittsburgh region, with the National Weather Service issuing a winter storm watch from today through early tomorrow. Snow is expected to begin midday today, totaling between 1 to 3 inches across most areas, though up to 6 inches are possible where pressure systems intensify. The worst conditions are forecast overnight tonight, with snow squalls, gusts up to 55 miles an hour, and wind chills dropping as low as minus 25. An extreme cold watch will follow through noon tomorrow. Conditions should ease slightly by Sunday. Read more about this at the Post-Gazette. Allegheny County Executive Sarah Innamorato has signed an expansive executive order to address the region's housing crisis. The directive establishes a coordinated housing framework focused on boosting supply, preserving existing stock, and preventing displacement. It calls for the county's first ever housing needs assessment, an expansion of land banking and blight remediation, and the creation of a dedicated housing investment fund. Officials are also urged to incentivize zoning reform and explore both public and private tools to develop affordable and workforce housing. Read more about this at WESA. Pro-Palestinian activists disrupted the University of Pittsburgh's Board of Trustees meeting yesterday, demanding the school disclose its $6.1 billion endowment and divest from companies tied to Israel. Members of the unregistered student group Samud interrupted board proceedings multiple times, accusing Pitt of financial complicity and violence against Palestinians. University police removed the 5 individuals. Trustees say they've engaged the campus in discussions, and investment officers have met with concerned students. Endowment investments have been a flashpoint for student activism nationwide since the Gaza conflict began. Pitt previously divested from fossil fuels under similar pressure. Read more about this in the Post-Gazette. The Pennsylvania State Board of Nursing has temporarily suspended the license of a Westmoreland County nurse amid allegations of sexual misconduct. Dana Coxon, a registered nurse since 2014, is accused of having sexual relations with a patient at Torrance State Hospital, where she worked in a unit for criminal sex offenders. According to a state filing, Coxon resigned from the hospital last November, following her employment there since May. No criminal charges have been filed at this time. The temporary suspension was issued this week. Read more about this in the Tribune Review. And a media scholar is urging Pittsburgh to rebuild its news ecosystem with community voices at the center. The brief follows news that the Post-Gazette's owner has announced plans to shut down the paper in May. In a guest essay for Public Source, Latrell Crittenden warns that simply saving or replacing the Post-Gazette risks repeating old mistakes if newsrooms don't prioritize engagement with residents, especially underserved neighborhoods. He calls for funding models tied to accountability and public self-assessment. He says, quote, "Serving the community's needs is the entire point of community news." You can read the full commentary at Public Source. Our free newsletter is a quick local news digest, essentially this newscast in written form. Subscribe at Wake Up Pitt, that's Pitt with 1T, .transistor.fm. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at Wake Up Pitt, and please share this podcast with your friends who care about this city. I'm Matt Peiken. Thanks so much for starting your weekdays with Wake Up Pittsburgh.